What is happening, everyone? Just going to pull up this stream here. Bear with me 1 second. Just going to let some people trickle in. I just need to make sure that the audio and stuff is coming through. So bear with me 1 second here while we get this thing started. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, looks like we've got me, Strika, in the house. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Okay, let me know in the comments if you guys can hear me. We got Arcade in the house. Thanks for being here, you guys. I truly, truly appreciate it. Who else is in the house? Let us know in the live chat. So let's get into this. How about that? We got 7 people here. Strika can hear me loud and clear. Thanks, Josh, for being here. And all right, so I thought we'll just start this out with Bitcoin, and let's just migrate this over to a 1-day chart. Just got to adjust this microphone here. Ah, there we go. So what we got here is a little bit of a bounce, and this is great to see because right now price action was just too far away from this Ichimoku cloud, in my opinion. In addition to that, we also had some nice bullish things to look out for, and that was this little falling wedge that we did have on the charts. So here we go. So we did have a little bit of a falling wedge, a little bit of a channel here. And right now we're really starting to kind of break this. This might be more defined on like a weekly chart. Yeah, let's do this. So if I throw this up on the weekly, you guys can get a better idea of what I'm talking about. There is this downward squeeze known as this falling wedge. So right now, when we look at the Bitcoin weekly chart, and let's see, I'm just looking at some of these comments. Oh, man. We'll get to the comments here in just a second. Right now, Bitcoin's trading at 30,943, 935. And so we just had this new weekly candle print, and you can kind of see that things already are looking bad. That's not necessarily good. But if we switch over to the daily chart, we do see these green candles start to appear. And obviously, we've got a little under 22 hours, or a little bit over 22 hours, 23 hours before the next candle prints. So I'm hoping that we start to see some bullish engulfing happening here. And I'm hoping that we get some movement to the upside. Maybe come and retest this 50 moving average somewhere around this $36,000 level. That would be awesome. Let's throw up a little Fibonacci time sequence, and you can see that it's done a halfway decent job here. It's done a halfway decent job at predicting this reversal point right here. So it was almost to the day that it predicted a reversal point, and we are seeing June 17th, somewhere in that neighborhood, going to possibly be another day where we see some increased volatility or a potential reversal. So we might see the crypto market come up to this $36,000 level, and this is just purely speculation, and get rejected. And if we get something like that happening, that would probably be well within this channel that is formed here. So that wouldn't be too surprising to see this come up to around this 37,000 for a rejection or, a price takeoff. Now, I'm going to show you guys something here, and we are going to just briefly go over this, because if you like comparing crypto to like the US dollar and foreign currencies, you're going to want to come back to this channel tomorrow. I just got done releasing a little video here, and I wanted to show you guys a little sneak peek. So this mid-June date is going to be important, and we're seeing this date all around, all across all the other cryptocurrencies. Voyager token, I mean, there's just so many. Internet Computer has these mid-June dates that we need to be on the lookout for. And so without really spoiling too much of the video that's coming out tomorrow, basically the DXY, or the US dollar currency index, is a tool that we can use to measure the strength of the dollar. I get into depth on what exactly, the US dollar is compared to. For example, the euro, the Canadian dollar, a few other currencies. But what's interesting about this is when we start to throw down some time sequence here, I'm primarily interested in, just going to get rid of that, in this swing high to this swing low, because it was one of the last erratic movements before price shot up. And so if we go ahead and just measure this, we can see that this June 14th date pops up. And whenever we start to see, and this is what I'm going to go into depth more on this video I'm going to release tomorrow, and you guys got to see this video that I'm going to release tomorrow, is that price action right now for the US dollar strength is way too far away from this Ichimoku cloud. The RSI is blowing up through the roof. So it's important that we look at this June 14th date. I think that it very well could be that Bitcoin might hang around these low $30,000 levels for the next month. Once the US dollar strength loses its value or its strength and starts coming down, we're going to see the crypto markets respond. And I get into this on this video, but we're not going to get into it right now. But I just thought that was kind of a cool thing that I thought I would show you. So right now, I do think that we're kind of still stuck in this position that we're in right now. I mean, we're seeing this little maybe bear flag, bull flag, or excuse me, symmetrical triangle possibly forming here. Let's just go ahead and look at, bear with me 1 second. We're going to look at the Bitcoin investor tool. This has quickly become one of my more favorite tools to look at the price of Bitcoin and where the value is at, when you should be buying, things like that. Don't take this as financial advice or anything like that. But when we look at this, we can see anytime price has been underneath this 750-day moving average, it's been a decent buying area. So if you're wondering what this red line is here, it's a 750-day moving average times 5. And so that brings it like right up here. And we get this very nice channel where Bitcoin has traded in. And so we can see that, this 2018-19 dip would have been a nice opportunity to pick some coins up. And it was off to the races from there. Coronavirus crash, boom, off to the races. And we are seeing that this price is now below this 750-day moving average. And that's why I am so bullish on the markets kind of right now. So I do think that there might be a halfway decent buying opportunity for the more of the longer term. And we can see that if price takes off from these levels, as far as Bitcoin is concerned, we could obviously see something that's never happened before, something that will break this chart and make it completely worthless. Like if Bitcoin went down to like 5,000 or something. Well, that wouldn't do us any good. And this chart, in my opinion, would be unusable because it would be unreliable at that point. But I do think that when we look at the grand scheme of things, folks, man, this is going to be pretty damn sweet for all of us if, let's just say, the rest of this year, the next few months, we stay below this. And then we see Bitcoin make another run up to maybe 190,000, something like that. That's going to be so insane. I tell you what, if I get lucky and have one of my altcoin investments take off, it's going to go straight into Bitcoin. I'm going to sell that at like 175,000 just to be safe. So really, that's kind of my thoughts on that. There's one other thing that I want to show you guys, and that's this stock to flow oscillator. This has quickly become one of my more favorite things to show everybody as well. And really, when we look, bear with me 1 second here, folks. Been a while since I've done a live stream. Let me know in the comments if you guys want me to do more live streams. I'll do more live streams. One thing that I wanted to show you guys was, bear with me, is that right now this oscillator has never been this low since this 2015, 2014 period when we had this bear market happen. But then we had just this amazing multi-year bull run happen. I mean, so we have this metric showing us that, hey, we may be near bedrock, hopefully. I guess we'll never know, right? Right now, Bitcoin's trading at 31,000. I'm going to just check out some of these comments here and see what you guys are saying here. CKB, baby. We will get into that one next. How about that? Should we jump in the market? Your predictions, man. I'm not going to give any advice on when or when not to jump into the market. That's not my jam. I'm just kind of a crazy guy here on the internet drawing all these lines on the screen. It's not financial advice. I wish I was a financial advisor to tell you guys. So if you guys could please smash that like button. It helps out the channel, the algorithm. These videos get picked up. The more people that are seeing videos about CKB, Voyager Token, your other altcoins, the more people that are going to be investing in them. So I do appreciate that. I Falioni, Packables in the house. Can't wait for DXY to crash. Looking forward to that. Yeah, Josh, I do agree with you on that. I actually called up my old man yesterday and I said, this is getting kind of way up there. You might want to just reallocate your portfolio a little bit. What's up, King Love? Good to see you here. Strika, if you could get time, look at Sif Chain, Rowan, for me, and let me know your thoughts at the moment. Okay, let's see here. We got a bunch of other ones here. Sup Packable and oh no, GFFL. Luna, TA2. I mean, yeah, we can get into Luna as well. So whatever you guys want, let me know in the live chat and we'll get through it and we'll try to check some of these out here. So let's go back to CKB. That's one of my favorites and it's next up on the chart. Now, I do think that CKB we'll get rid of that and I'm going to bring back my RSI. Where is it? There we go. CKB is looking like really good. I do think that there's going to be a little bit more bleeding though. And personally, I hope that it bounces back and we don't see it. But I do have some buy orders set in case of a massive wick down. This is one of those things where, we might get this bounce, we might not. I'm seeing that CKB on the daily, a lot of people are selling this thing off. So as soon as this thing's pumping up to this 0.0063, people are selling it off back down to the 0.0056-ish level. So it's losing a little tiny bit of strength down here. So I don't know if this is enough to really pass go from this 382 Fibonacci extension level. And if it does fail, we can see this body really pressing up against this lower level here. If it does fail, there might be a chance that this thing could come down to about 0.0034-ish. Now, if it breaks below this, folks, we're going to have some issues. Like I said, personally, I'm not saying that you guys should, but I have a buy order set for 0.0035-ish. If it goes through, sweet. If it doesn't, I've got a good bag of CKB and I'm not worried. but that would be like the ultimate primo prices to really grab some CKB at. And we can see, like I've mentioned before, that price action has really respected this Fibonacci channel that we've got growing here. And we can see that much like Bitcoin, CKB really does have this falling wedge kind of appeal to it. So we can see this downward squeeze, and hopefully we'll get a nice bounce out of it, and we won't even see those 0.0035-ish levels. So right now, I'm really hoping, for all the holders' sake, that we can see a nice reversal. And I do think that, if we do see this thing pop, it might be up to the 61.8 level, 0.0078, or the 786 at around 9 or just under a penny. I almost said 9 cents, which would be unbelievable. So that's kind of CKB. We really need to just kind of see what happens with the B, right? So we need to see what happens with CKB. Interestingly enough, when I throw up a little Fibonacci time sequence, it predicted a top right here, predicted a little bit of a reversal in here, and we are now seeing this October 13th, 2022 as another point of interest. Not saying price is going to come down to here. We could see price bounce and then maybe pivot like something like that. Or we could see price come all the way down and bounce here. We just don't know. But that's a date to kind of look at. Let's go to another crypto here. Bear with me. You guys are killing it in the comments section. So keep it coming. I'm going to try to keep up with all this stuff. If I accidentally skip over your crypto, let me know again in the comment and I'll look for it. So we got Rowan, ROWAN. Okay, let's see, what was this? SIF chain? Let me look at this here. SIF chain. Oh yeah, here we go. So this is on Quick Swap. Oh no, I'm out of Sprite. So let's just look at this here. I guess I don't know your Erowon. Let me know, Strika, if this is the one that you were looking at. Let me just see what's going on here. All right. So right now, yeah, this is pretty crazy. What a pump this was. Holy cow. I've never heard of this. However, we can see that it is up substantially. We'll go from this bottom here up to this top. This thing, did a 200%, almost a little 2x here in the last month or two. It's a DEX on Cosmos. Okay. I've never heard of it. I don't really ever get into Cosmos ecosystem or anything like that. Let's just pitchfork this because I'm very interested in seeing where this goes. Okay. Interesting. Well, it blew up the pitchfork. Let me just get, let's see here. Geez. Yeah, this was something else. Now, since this is such a heavy retracement, I'm thinking like this thing's going to want to bounce here. And I don't know if we're going to see this thing bounce in complete Elliott Wave theory. So you guys can kind of see there might be something going on here. Excuse me one second. There might be something going on here. There also could be some sort of head and shoulders pattern that could strip this thing down. Man, let me just look at this and let's just throw up this little Fibonacci retracement. Look for this thing to travel down to 0.00488. Might get a bounce off this 786. Who knows for sure? But it is what it is. We'll have to come back to this one the next time we do a little live stream. So we got 24 people in here. Thank you guys for being here. Somebody sold their CKB to buy Luna. Oh man, I don't know. We got a lot of people asking about Luna, and so let's just cover it quickly. I don't want to spend too much time on it because it is kind of one of these things that's been just covered to death, and I think that people are starting to kind of get sick of it. But let's look at KuCoin, because I know that Luna's trading on KuCoin, and I have been trading Luna the last few days, and I'm talking very small trades, like $10 worth, things like that. And I've and I've profited on all of them. So I think I just took my money and kind of ran with it. Yeah, right now, I mean, on this 1 hour chart, we did see a little Elliott Wave theory move to the upside here. And we did see a little A, B, maybe a C. Will we get a D, E retracement? Possibly. Who knows? Let's just look at this on like a 15-minute chart. Now, the last time I thought I heard there was like something like 16.5 trillion Luna minted. So let me know in the comment sections what you guys think of that. Anyways, yeah, this thing maxed out the fib extension after hitting this bottom. So it was very overbought throughout in here. This is just one of these things where it's just very hard to even look at a chart like this. And this is just such erratic buying here, and nothing seems to really be making sense. But let's just throw up a shift pitchfork here. That's what I thought was going to happen. Yeah, this thing is going to play hard to get. Oh, man. You know what? This is just such abnormal pattern here. There's really not much I could even gain from this. There might be some sort of a Gartley pattern here. Who knows? It's just so unusual. And it could be that we are gearing up to see some more impulse waves to the upside. This could just be a gigantic corrective wave that's happening too. So like I said, we won't be spending too much time on Luna. It's kind of like blah at this point. CKB is looking like a real nice buy at the moment. Yeah, it is. For me, I mine CKB, so I'm getting CKB every single day. It costs me electricity. Ifalioni's talking about how mining rewards have gone up substantially on CKB, and I've noticed the same thing. So I've got six miners? I got seven miners here. I got one mine in Sia Coin, the other six mine CKB. And so I'm getting like 750 CKB a day or 710 CKB a day. That's because everybody's turning off their CK6s and their CK5s because they're so expensive to run that they are better off buying it outright out of their pocket or just simply shutting it off until CKB can, regain some composure. I don't know when the CKB halving is due. I think it's 2023, if I remember right. Yes, it looks like Ifalioni is saying that. We got Elizabeth in the house. Thanks for being here. Elizabeth has a new startup, or is a part of a new startup for an online crypto magazine. And we will talk more about that here in the future. But I did write a little bit of an article that will be in it. And so, yeah, once I get some details on when it's going to be posted and some more details from her, we'll get some information out. So that's pretty cool. I can't wait for that. GRT, let's look at it. GRT, the graph. A lot of people talking about the graph. And so what I'm seeing right out of the gates here, to me, this looks like Elliott Wave theory on this 15-minute chart over the last few days. And so what Elliott Wave theory is it's a series of impulse waves to the upside. And as a rule of thumb, span 2 to 3, cannot be the shortest span. So by default, It's not, because we can see 0 to 1 is the shortest span. And so we might get a little bit of a retracement here on the graph. Whenever I start to see price like this kind of plateau, and we get this 50 moving average kind of trading parallel with this 200 moving up, I get a little iffy about things like that, because at this point it would be easy for a death cross to set up and execute. So let's just clear this and see if we can see any other patterns via. Let's just look at this here. And this is all very speculative stuff I'm doing here, folks. When we start looking at patterns and wedge formations and things like that, sometimes they pan out, other times they don't. But if this is a rising wedge or some sort of upward squeeze, we might see the graph retrace from here. And let's just say it does. Let's just say this happens. We might be looking at 15 cents down to 13, 14 cents, somewhere in there, or lower. But let's just take another quick look at this, because we are seeing that the lows are getting higher, and we can see that there is this stabilization up here as well. So this could also be kind of forming possibly a little bit of an ascending triangle. We'll just have to wait this one out. So ascending triangles are very bullish things to see. So with that said, if that is the case as to what's happening here, we will likely see the graph kind of take off. And let's just throw up some numbers here. If it does, you could look for maybe this 23 cent to 26 cent would be my guess. Not really comfortable on calling anything outside of those parameters based off the way that this thing could move. It's a 50-50 shot. We got a rising wedge and an ascending triangle kind of forming at the same time. There's not much we can do about it. Let me look at some of this stuff here. We got Crypto Airborne in the house. Good to see you here. Yeah, he's got miners running too. If you watch his videos, look in his background, you can see he's got CKB miners, a few other ones too. Let me just look. GFFL makes a statement here. Impossible for the regular average Joe to even purchase an NFT. I couldn't agree with you more. I will say that the last few years, it's become a hell of a lot easier for people to navigate around to eventually getting themselves an NFT. But for the most part, you are 100% right. I don't think that masses are on board quite yet, simply because there still is a humongous learning curve even right now. I thought about selling a CK5 to buy more CKB. Anyone interested? There you go. Reach out to iFalioni if you're interested. Let's look at this. Oh my gosh. I should just shut this live stream down right now. Luna's new name is Will Smith. No one saw it coming. I love that. That's funny. Okay. Can I set up your home with solar panels? Hey, man. I wouldn't be opposed to it. I'm thinking about moving soon, so maybe not on this house. How long do I think that this dip will last? We'll get into that here in just a second. We got Elizabeth. You are welcome. Let's look at Voyager Token. If you got any other requests, drop them in the live chat for me. Since Airborne is here, or hopefully he's still here, we will check out Voyager Token for the people of Voyager Token. Let's get rid of some of this stuff here, and let's check this thing out on a daily chart. And like the graph, Voyager Token is looking halfway decent. We got this symmetrical triangle squeeze going. I was on Airborne's channel last week, and I was kind of talking about how the price was just simply too far away from this Ichimoku cloud and that it was time to move back upwards. And we can see this symmetrical triangle here, which is a great thing to see. But if we look at this at a super high level, we can almost see the same style pattern shaking out that we saw on the graph. The lows are getting higher, and this is exactly what we want to see. And this is forming an ascending triangle right now off an extensive bear leg. So I'm very hopeful that this doesn't turn bearish, because I am seeing a possible head and shoulders pattern that might have formed here. We know this because we can see this neckline. So whenever I'm looking at these charts, I'm always looking for these head and shoulders patterns. And specifically, I'm always kind of looking in my mind to try and picture all these patterns on these charts. And that's exactly what I just did here. It kind of looks like somewhat of a head and shoulders pattern. But like the graph, we're seeing a nice ascending triangle possibly. This is so crazy to even see stuff like this. So right now, that Voyager token, this is really gonna need to wait another day or two before we can really get a feel as to which direction this thing's gonna fly. Because right now, I'm seeing like um, the bulls and the bears heading for a significant head-on collision, and by default, I mean, we can just see, we saw it on the daily chart. We can see this. Boom, symmetrical triangle right there. So it is what it is, right? We need to wait. So we'll cover this later this week. Voyager earnings tomorrow at 8 a.m. Okay. Luna equals Chris Rock. Yes, it will. Yes, it does. Can I do algo? We will do algo. Of course. And let's look at this. Symmetrical triangle squeeze out of the gates. And we can see that. This is very similar to what I've kind of been seeing throughout the markets as well. So we got this little pause date, going on, or this little pause that's happened. Price came down, consolidated. Let's look at algo on the weekly first. I want to just kind of see where this thing is at. And yeah, this thing took this nasty. I remember looking at this before. This thing reminds me a lot of ICP's chart. It just does. But you can also see that maybe you can't because I don't have any graphics or anything pulled up, but I can definitely see that there was a Wyckoff pattern in here as well. For that matter, we ended up getting this strong Elliott wave theory move to the upside, and now we are kind of seeing this corrective wave happen here. And I'm trying to decide if this thing got an A, B, C, D, E corrective wave. It kind of looks like it. Let's just look at this thing on a daily chart, or let's just go to a 2-day chart. So right now, price is kind of far from the cloud. So I do think that there might be somewhat of a bounce. We do have quite an established trend line here. Let's get this thing up. And so you guys can kind of see this too, that these prices have really kind of bounced to the downside. And I just think that maybe if this thing comes back up, watch for a little bit of resistance around that 63 cent-ish level. I just want to pull one other thing up. Let's do this. Actually, I want to see where this thing fell to first. Okay, so this thing fell, for the most part, below the 786. Not something that you traditionally want to see on a chart like this, but it is what it is. So I want to just switch this up and see something here. Okay. So let's just say this is the bottom. Bear with me. Let's just say that this is the bottom right in here for algo. Look for that 96 cent-ish point to the upside. I'd say if this thing goes further south, 34 cents, If it moves more to the downside, 25 cents, 21 cents might be something to look at. Sunshine Daydreams. How about some Doge Elon Mars and or Sia? Okay, let's do both of those. Let's do Doge. What is it? Just Elon? Is that it? Doge Elon? I had picked up some of this. A friend told me to, and I picked it up, and I'm hodling it. I don't know. Is this right? Let's see here. Yeah, price right now for Doge Elon Mars, like this is just too. This price action to me is just too far away from this Ichimoku cloud. Let's just see where this thing, man. Let's just see where this thing might have retraced to. I don't even know if I'm looking at the right chart. Let me know in the comments section if this is the right one. Let's just see here. Well, I'll say this. If this thing starts pumping again, look for, what is this? 6 zeros and a 7 as the next resistance point. So let's just say 20% increase from here. Yeah, just look for that 6 zeros and a 7. That might be your next line of defense. But right now, I'm just not really seeing much that I could really come up with. There might be some sort of inverse head and shoulders that's forming. So there could be that. But this just looks like a series of corrective waves, possibly to the downside for now. But there was an impressive inverse head and shoulders here that did fail. And I think that was simply due to like Bitcoin in the market. So this thing was wanting to set up in a bullish pattern before. And we could see that there was just this symmetrical triangle squeeze that happened and the bottom fell off the market. Let's look at Sia Coin. Sia Coin. Now, like I said, I've got one of these miners back here dedicated to Sia Coin. The last time I think I really covered Sia Coin, we were really kind of trying to track Sia Coin and really, show how important it was for price to really stay within this Fibonacci channel because it had just obeyed it so nicely. And we can see that, unfortunately, price has left this lower channel. So what does that mean for Sia Coin? Well, let's just get rid of all this junk, and we will throw up some Fibonacci retracements here. There we go. And really, oh man, this thing is possibly, if I had to say, this kind of looks a little bit like the CKB chart, a little bit. But if this thing falls even further, let's just try to get a grip on this. So bear with me 1 second here. Let's just get this set up perfectly. I would say that if we saw Sia Coin really drop from the levels it's at right now, this 0.00127 level comes up, and that was the previous low or around last coronavirus or the coronavirus fall of 2020. This is just one of those things. If Sia Coin rages down to this 0.001 cent level somewhere in there, I think I will probably toss like $100 into it at that point and really try to buy some of that. Thank you, just in time. We'll look at Soul Swap here. Yeah, for Sia Coin, I mean, it might get a little bit of a bounce. It's kind of in this weird situation right now. Let's see. Is this it? Let me know in the comments just in time if this is it. Oh boy. Immortal Souls City. This might not be the right. Let's see here. FTM. Soul wrapped FTM. Spooky swap. Okay. So I'm not sure what's going on here. Let me know in the comments section just in time if this is the one you were referring to. This looks like a rug pull. Like the liquidity got completely sucked out of this thing. Man, this is like the Luna charts. Man. So this thing pumped 2,649%. Let's see here. In a matter of, what is this? This can't be right. 1 hour? This thing pumped within 1 hour, 2,500%. Okay, so that's not it. Okay. Oh my goodness. I was like, oh no. So I'm not. So maybe this is it. I'm just trying to find this, guys. Maybe this is it. Sold to the US dollar. Let me look here. I'm gonna try to, let's see. It was a Sol pair. It was the Sol USDT pair. Okay. So yeah. So this is what we got now. Okay. Whew, I was kind of sweating there. I was like, oh my God, I hope this guy didn't get rug pulled hard or something. Okay, I like seeing this. I don't like seeing these Luna charts and stuff like that that's going on. We've definitely got some Elliott Wave theory to the upside. Actually, this is very cool. And this is one of these things where we see Elliott Wave theory. It doesn't look like it completed here. If I went off a 4-day chart, I don't know what was going on there. Let's look at this a little closer. So yeah, this looks like some sort of Elliott Wave theory pattern to the upside for sure. What's interesting about this is this thing could quite possibly be setting up for some sort of head and shoulders pattern as well. We can see the start of the left shoulder or the completion of a left shoulder ahead, which was concluded by double tops here. And now we can see a bump off this same trend line. So, if you had to ask me, what could possibly be going on right now with Sol, is that there could be a potential for some sort of head and shoulders pattern to form. So I'd be really interested to see if Sol Swap returns to this 75-cent-ish level, which is right around the top of this previous shoulder, somewhere in that neighborhood. And if we do see Sol Swap kind of run up to these levels, we might see a correlation of this 50 moving average on the daily here and price action. And if it does get rejected at those levels, this thing could get really nasty. Now, the other thing is, though, I'm seeing some conflict here within the RSI. So we're seeing something that looks like a very bearish chart happen, but on the daily, I'm also seeing some halfway decent, signals of a squeeze. So we can kind of see that there is this falling wedge squeeze that is happening with these markets right now. I've been seeing this on the RSI across a lot of these cryptocurrencies, folks. And we can see that this squeeze is pumping price right now. So if you had to ask me about Sol Swap and where this could possibly go, I mean, shit, we're looking at this $1.10-ish level, quite possibly. So it wouldn't surprise me to see $1.10 on the Sol Swap here. I'm interested in seeing where this thing has run down to as far as a retracement is concerned. Okay, so it's well past the 786. But we can see that this 786 is also kind of lining up with these 2 points here and over by this shoulder here. So yeah, maybe 75 to 94, 5 cents, somewhere in there. If you see resistance around those levels and a sharp pullback, we could be seeing this thing fall. I'm not going to spend too much more time on this, but I do appreciate the super chat, and I hope that was a good explanation for you. Let's just see here. Well, we'll do one more. It looks like Packable is in the house. He's got his bags packed on BitTorrent, maybe. At least he used to. So we'll check this one out. Let me know in the comments. We'll do ICP last, and then we'll do Bitcoin again. This something's going on. Oh, this is the BitTorrent to Bitcoin. I always look at BitTorrent to Bitcoin when it should be USD. So BitTorrent to the dollar. So the last time we did TA on BitTorrent, it looks like Packable knows that I do that every single time too. Every single time. We've got a very nice symmetrical triangle squeeze on BitTorrent. So this thing is ready to fly. I would say give this thing another day and a half and we'll know for sure which way this thing is going. Whenever I start to see this 50 moving average start gravitating like this and the 200 barreling down like this, I like to see a sharp run up in price. So I'm thinking that there is a possible maybe 16 to 20% jump here, and I say possible with BitTorrent. But if this thing decides to go lower, which it very well could, because technically this is a bear pennant, and let's just look at this on the daily chart as well. I'm going to clear this crap on my screen. And this is just one of these hard charts to kind of read just because TradingView just hasn't, it's when BitTorrent did that reverse split or whatever it was, it just messes with the charts so bad. And what I'm seeing here on this daily, okay, so RSI is impacted by the reverse split, but we're seeing this symmetrical triangle squeeze happen. And price is too far away from this Ichimoku cloud. So we got the 50. If price starts jamming, we might see this thing, like I said, come back up to this 167 level, approximately that 20% level. Oh, maybe 50%. We could see a 50% pump from here. So it is what it is. Yes, please subscribe. I do appreciate it. I'm not sure if it's a Tron thing. I really haven't checked it out too much. I've traded it off patterns and things like that. So here's ICP, folks. We'll do this, and then we'll do a quick recap on Bitcoin. But ICP, this has just been one of these wild rides. I mean, we had such a nice setup till this whole Luna thing happened. And then it was just kind of like the bottom fell off. But we had this awesome, amazing, we had this awesome, amazing falling wedge happen with ICP. And then the bottom fell out. And now we've got this Fibonacci time sequence, which was May 14th, which was yesterday. And that is a possible reversal point, increased volatility. Price for me right now is it's still a little too far from the Ichimoku cloud, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it come up to around this $11.33-ish level and kind of test that area out. And if it passes through that, which I think it should, maybe this $13-ish level, somewhere in there. Right now with ICP, we're just kind of simply waiting for a couple days to see what is going on with this right now. And if you missed the beginning of this video, everyone, I got a really good video coming out tomorrow when it basically talks about the relationship of crypto and the DXY, which is basically the strength of the US dollar against like 6 different foreign currencies. So right now we're just kind of waiting on ICP to do its thing, and then let's just kind of cook on over to, bear with me one second. Looks like SPWN, Bitspawn. Look at this. Okay, here we go. So Bitspawn. Okay, I don't know much about this. I've never really heard of it until right now. When I look at this, though, I'm seeing a potential for a Gartley pattern here, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is a 161.8 level. So whenever I see this potential setup for a Gartley pattern, I always love to test the theory. Look at this, 161.8. So you guys can see it's very close. 161.9. What did I just say? That this was the 161.8 level. So let's rip through this and see. I can see all this Gartley pattern stuff without even drawing lines and stuff like that. So what I'm looking for here is really, I'm not sure how accurate these wicks are. Traditionally, we wouldn't want to see price penetrate through this 786 level right here, but it did just barely. So we're not going to discount that quite yet. Another thing I'm looking for here is for this price to come up on this right shoulder, wick the 61.8, and not go higher than point A here. So it has done that. So we're just going to draw a nice little box here. So now this is what I would call a near perfect setup. We haven't really, I'm not going to get into all the technical measurements and stuff like that. But when we look at this, we can see that one of the things I'm looking for is a target right down and around this 127 area. So it appears that we have hit that area. The next target I'd be looking for is the 161.8, which is way further down. But when we look at this, as far as a Gartley pattern is concerned, I'd be looking for this 127 area somewhere in here, or the 161.8 level somewhere down in here. So it appears that it is hit around that 161.8 in that Gartley pattern, and possibly this 127. So this is a potential solid reversal point for any crypto or asset when you start seeing stuff like that. Really, the RSI is pretty low right now, so it could have an easy pump. We've got a symmetrical triangle kind of happening too, possibly. Man, this looks like it's being computer traded to death, or it's just super low volume, and that's why we're getting these crazy swings. Man, this stuff like this kind of hard to even read on even like a 1 hour chart. Like I said, I've never heard of this one, but it is what it is. So it did just experience a death cross on the 4 hour chart. Now I did a video on this, and you guys should check it out. But a lot of times when we start to see a death cross, it will actually indicate that the bottom is already in. So when we see stuff like this happen, and this is one of those things where it's not all the time, but sometimes when we see these death crosses happen, usually it's on these higher time frame, like the daily charts and things like that, which we just don't have data. So maybe a 4 hour chart is wrong to be saying all this stuff, but price action is just too far away from this Ichimoku cloud down here. But it is kind of looking like it's winding back up. I'd be looking for price to stick around this 0.003-ish level, because there might be a chance that you get some sort of ascending triangle out of this. You see price shoot back up to the 0.004 cent-ish level. So it is what it is. I'd be concerned about this if you start to see some sort of pattern or something like a rising wedge play out with this one. Maybe if it came out to meet this 50 moving average, something like that. If there's a rising wedge in, I do think that that will fail. This one, if I go live within the next week and you're watching, just let me know. You don't have to do a what do they call it? A super chat, but I do appreciate it all. So Faliani watched it. Great video. Yeah, ICP. I think it's a solid project. It definitely has some issues going on from the beginning. That was just kind of out of their control. Let's see here. XYO. I got you. XYO. XYO to the dollar. Okay, so man, this is one of those things where XYO has been around longer than May 3rd, hasn't it? Let me just see here. That's what I thought. Here we go. So now we get some more price history. Okay, so right now, XYO, I'm seeing something that I don't like right out of the gates. Possibly on the RSI is telling me that we are seeing somewhat of a potential for a rising wedge or something like that. Whether or not we'll get it, we do have this symmetrical triangle. So this thing is about ready to make a move, to say the least. And I would say, let's try to time this down to the hour for you. So let's get into this, huh? Here we go, folks. So watch XYO May 16th, tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Central Time. Just check that out. Is it a bit undersold? Let's look at that on the daily chart. It's very oversold, very oversold. And when we look at this on this daily chart, price action is far too away from this Ichimoku cloud. So I do think that there'll be a nice bounce, possibly to the upside. At least I would hope. We can see anytime price really got out there, man, it just got reeled right back in. Same with kind of right in here. So you might get a little bit of a bounce. I don't know how much, possibly up to this 50 moving average, something like that, maybe. So I would expect to possibly see something in the neighborhood of that 0.013-ish level. Let's just do this. 0.0134, you're going to see some resistance. 0.010, 0.015. The ones I would really be looking for are the 0.0179 and 2 cent levels. If it gets past that, check in with me. If it gets past that, 3 cents. So here we go. Let's see. I think that I'm going to wrap this one up. I really like your videos. Could you put the subtitles in Portuguese? I'm a fan of your work and channel. Congratulations. Wish you success. You know what? I will look into this because you're not the first person that's told me and asked me for subtitles in different languages and stuff like that. So I do think that is important, and it's definitely something that I would like to address for my followers. And let's look at Bitcoin just to recap in case you guys missed the beginning. It's okay. Like I said, I've got this crazy video coming out comparing crypto to basically the US dollar's strength and how big of a correlation there is. It's very surprising. So I will release that video tomorrow as well. And so with Bitcoin, I mean, we've got this falling wedge, and like I've mentioned to other people, I've been noticing that there is some dates, right around May 15th to June 14th, somewhere in there, that are going to be extremely important for the crypto market. And I do think that there could be a chance that I'm just seeing here. The King Love says, I guess now that we are in a bear market, The singers have to come out to play. I mean the swingers. Autocorrect hates me. That's funny. Check out Plan C's Confluence floor model. He got that model from me. So with that said, we've got Bitcoin. It's got the falling wedge happening. We'll just recap this quick with the indicators that I gave to Plan C. Just kidding, guys. This is one of my more favorite indicators, and this is just the 750-day moving average. And basically, this green line is a 750-day moving average. The red line is a 750-day moving average. And this red line is 5x from this green line. And so we can see that historically, anytime opportunities came underneath this green line, it's been a field day for investors. And here's another example. And here's another example. And I can just show you guys where we're at right now. So right now, we are underneath this green line. I do think that there is somewhat of a potential for Bitcoin to drop down to this $22,000 to $23,000 level. It wouldn't surprise me if it was just a quick flash down. But really, in all actuality, we've seen the last few times that Bitcoin's dropped below this line, it hasn't been for very long. And I'm talking a few months, a month. Here's a couple weeks. So there's definitely some, some hope here that this could be the bottom, or that we could be scraping along bedrock for that matter. So I'm bullish on Bitcoin. I know Crypto Airborne is bullish on Bitcoin in the markets right now. I know it's been very tough to be bullish on the crypto markets. Excuse me, man. I grilled up cheeseburgers on my new grill tonight, so that was fun. But anyways, that was really random. But right now, we can see since November 8th, crypto has put in a retracement of 50%. And really, when I start to think of, are we in the bear market, et cetera, I like to kind of think of it as like a scale of 100% from the all-time highs. So once we hit that 51% mark, that's when I would consider it technically a bear market, because we're 50% from the all-time highs. We're in bearish favor, if that makes sense. So right now, I think everybody is on edge with Bitcoin. We're glad to see it hovering around this $29,000, $30,000 level. It seems like it's been at this level forever, which it has been. So I do think that price action is too far from this Ichimoku cloud. Might see a nice little rally like this happen. But like I said, stay tuned for my video tomorrow, folks. And we are going to really get into a solid comparison as far as the strength of crypto to the US dollar and other foreign currencies. And you're really going to see some very strong correlation from that. So really just want to thank everyone for being here tonight. I know this was kind of a last minute stream, so it is what it is. Markets have been turbulent. Nobody's surprised. It's funny to see the media say, is Bitcoin going to survive? I get a lot of people asking me, oh, Bitcoin's down right now. What in the crypto market's down right now? What are you going to do? And it's down 10%. Like 10%. If it's down 40%, I don't care. I'm used to it. I'm used to these big fluctuations. And I think what really rattles the cage is when new investors get into the crypto markets and they just can't handle these types of fluctuations, myself included. It really kept me up at night in the beginning. I'm in this for the long term. And when you come from like the stock market side of things, anything over like a 5, 6, 7% move in a day is a big deal. And when you start having 15% moves in like an hour, Like, what? And then it flips and tumbles and does all this other crazy stuff. Like, it's nuts. The crypto market is nuts, and I love it. So yeah, I'm right there with you. If Bitcoin goes to 15K, I don't care. I know where it goes, and it's come from my man. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, right? So anyways, I'm going to wrap this up. I really, again, only wanted this live stream to go like 20 minutes, and here we are, an hour and 5 minutes into it. We had some really good coins that you guys pitched, and thank you guys for being here on your Sunday night. See you guys all on the next video. Crypto Airborne stinks.